Alright, you need to make a livery and you do not know how to use holoclip because you are a dumbass and don't know how to code. I'm mainly talking about myself, and this is why I'm going to be teaching you guys how to use rattlecan 2. Now, on most of my locomotives, I use rattlecan 2, and it's fairly simple. Assuming you have rattlecan installed already and saved, this is what you'll have. Now, for some of you, it may be an error. For the sake of it, I just made mine a different ID, model ID. So, first thing you want to do is you want to spawn in the rattlecan E2. You want to go to your wire tab in the wire section, and you wire base entity to the locomotive itself, and it'll already do that. Now, before you go and start making your schemes, you want to type in the chat .create, or not, sorry, .edit. And .edit will automatically open edit mode, and it is very important that you do this because that's how you make stuff. Now, then, that's when you type .create section. And once you hear that, that's how you know a section is made, and then you can start coloring it. Now, I highly advise you color your stuff before you make new clips and more parts of your livery, and I'll basically be showcasing that. So, first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to color it a random color, like 55 right here, and you can see that it's already colored right here. Next thing you want to do is, if you want to make a second part of your livery, for the instance, I'm gonna have a line right here. So you're gonna type .create clip. Now the clip is what you will use to make each part of your livery. Now you want to space the clip and use it and position it properly. Now the way I just straighten it out is by holding it in place and holding down shift and the orientation, like how you usually do it. It makes it a lot easier. Then you want to get a crowbar from the weapons tab right here in Half-Life 2, and you want to go ahead and hold it down, and you'll notice that the back part of the locomotive has disappeared, or whatever you're reskinning. What you want to do is you want to press E on that, and that will automatically get rid of this side. And then you want to just touch it up a little bit more. Thank you, Siggy, for that in the background. You make my life even harder. Please stop doing it. Now that you have this part of the locomotive done, you want to do the next thing possible. First thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to grab the values of my railroad. For the sake of this, I am going to be touching up the colors a bit on my locomotive, and I forgot to mention this. To color your stuff, you type in the chat .color, and .color is, you can see right here, you do the values, which are right here, and these are just the values for my railroad color. So now that you've got this part done, now it's time for the second clip. What you want to do is you want to do, once again, .create section. And you'll notice that this part right here is clipping inside of your other section right here, if that makes sense. What you want to do is, instead of making a whole new clip, you want to get your crowbar and go back to this clip right here and press E. And once you do that, you'll notice it is no longer clipping and you have an entirely new color section right here. Now that you have this part right here, you just regularly color it, which I will do. And now that it's colored, you have your basic scheme right here. Now, this is, for instance, just the scheme of my railroad. You don't have to do this exact scheme. You can mess around with your clipping. You can do whatever you want. I am not forcing you to do anything. Feel free to just do whatever you want. Because, basically, to do more complex schemes with this, you could just orientate. Another thing is that was really cool is you can just orientate this clip right here, and it won't mess around. It won't break. You can just do something like this. And it's basically the same thing for angled colors like this, for instance. What you can do is you can just orientate it back, which I'm going to do. I'm not going to bother doing anything fancy with my scheme, since it's not that fancy. But now you have your scheme right here. Oh, one more thing. If you want to, I'm just going to add one more thing, which I'm going to do .create clip. And here you got the clip, and I'm going to bring this down a bit. And right here, this clip, for instance, is just for my, just for a side part. Now, this is one of the important things. Sometimes, with rattlecan, you can mess up. It's something I usually do on all of my stuff, which I've done right here. You can see that you got this part. And to go back and fix your mistakes, Big J! Why? As I was trying to say, to go back and fix stuff like what I've done right here, you just do dot section select 1, for instance, and you can see I've got that part selected. And now, doing dot section select will be a bit messy at sometimes. It's annoying, but it's just what you have to deal with rattlecan. And let's just quickly do this. And as you can see, I'm just doing one of the stripes. Just be sure to watch what I'm doing, and this will give you a brief idea on how to use rattlecan. And there you go. You got this part of the running board right here, or just the frame. You move this down, you can perfect it just like that. I do look for any sort of clipping, like right here. That's not necessarily clipping. I just want to fix that a bit, sort of like that. Then, for instance, I color my stuff. I just color this black, so I'll just do that color. There you go. Now that you have this, it's time to get some decals on. Now, one thing you can do with rattlecan is you can import decals with rattlecan hooked up to your locomotive. And to do this, you just go to your spawn list. You go to all the way down to your add-ons. You go to browse materials. And for instance, I am using Ari's pack for my specific railroad logos. And you do not have to use Ari's pack. I'm just showcasing it. A lot of the stuff here, as I was saying, you can just make your own liveries, mess around. If you have your own decals, you can use those. I'm just showcasing mine. We go to, let's find it real quick. Right here, WFR server content, decals. Now, this is something you should see. Right here, you need to go to whatever logo you're installing on your locomotive, and you right-click on it, and you click Copy to Clipboard. Then, what you do is you do .create decal, and you paste in the link. And you should see the decal paste in right here, and you can position it just like a regular decal. Now, you may notice the logo is very small. And to fix that, you do .scale. And for instance, I'm going to try 666, devil number. Okay. So like 66. Something like that. And you'll notice your decal scales up, and you can just put it on right here. Like that. We're going to scale that up more a bit to like 9. There you go. Yeah, that'll do. And I'm going to just do the dot color thing. Now, if your decal is not already colored, I don't know how you would theoretically use your decal packs. You just would do dot color. And once again, you can color your decal to fit whatever you are doing. And as you can see, it fits on right there. Now, to save time, instead of making an entirely new decal, you can just do .dupe. Now, it is important you have this selected. If you, like, say, make another decal right after you put this decal on, it would dupe the decal you just put on, if that makes sense. You want to make sure you just created this so that it dupes properly, and all the values should work. Then you just position your decal like usual right along here. Now, that's basically it for my scheme. If you do, there are a couple other things that you will need to add, which are going to be the lights, the plow, and that's pretty much it. So I'm going to go to Grove's pack, since that's what I'm using. Grove, where is it? There's his train parts. Now, this is something you want to know. Instead of just putting these in and, say, multi-parenting it onto your locomotive, do not do that. This is what I suggest you do. You get whatever model you are going to put on your locomotive, say this plow, right-click, you click Copy to Clipboard. Again, you do .create hollow, then you paste in the thing you copied, and it should paste in right here. Now, you do not need to do any scaling for it since it'll already have the values that it has. Now, all I'm going to do is just position this onto my locomotive, like this. Just like that. Just want to make sure it's aligned correctly. If it's not, then that's fine. Just fix it, and just like that. Just make sure it's not too low to the ground in a bit, and there you go. This is your plow, and you can color that, so I'll do that. You got it colored now, and you got the Penn Central tracks being spun in the background. Alright, so you do, for lights, you do .create hollow, the same thing, because it doesn't need to count as anything different. You paste in the link, or not the link, just the model ID, and you have the lights. Now, once again, you just position this to wherever you want it. I am, for instance, just putting it right here. Now that you have your light right there, this is where I'm going to be mounting my lights. You can see it clip a bit. Now, this is something I advise you fix with rattlecan. Just like that, and it should be centered, just center it a bit. And you can hear my fucking cats fighting in the background. I'm just gonna work on centering the lights a bit more. Just like that. Now that you have your lights positioned, let's get the ditch lights, and you'll do .create hollow once again. You'd probably know this by now. Right here. With all the parts of your locomotive done, now you want to save it theoretically. What you want to do is you want to, what I would do is also, if you don't have an E2 for your control stand, you put it in there, and that's pretty much it. I do not have an E2 control stand, so I'm going to put one in here too, but I do not know what cabs the SD70Ms use, so I'll quickly pull it up at a Google image of that. For cabs, it's nothing different. You just do .create hollow again, which I'm doing. Just move this to the position you want it in. Now, it's also very advised that you check before you fully save this, and as you can see, it's nothing too bad's poking out. Now, with your cab installed, if you don't have an E2, then that's just what I would do. You don't have to do that once again, but now you have your entire locomotive done. You are ready to publish this thing. We'll just save it and get on with building it. I'm not going to have a building tutorial in this, and this is probably just going to be unlisted because I can't make good tutorials. You want to type .save before you fully start customizing it. You type .save, and then you just type the random name. Just type the name of it. I'm, for instance, calling it SD70M. I try to keep it the entire name one thing, because I'm pretty sure that's how you can only save it. And it should save. Now now that you have it saved, you will do .operation. And you should see the entire thing regenerate. Everything should be on there. If it's not, then you just do .refresh, and everything should load in there. And now that you have everything right here, you have your basic livery done. That is basically how you use rattlecan 2. Some of the stuff I didn't cover in here was using materials, but it's just the main way I use rattlecan. This should help you, and if that doesn't, I am sorry. I don't know how to exactly do that for you, but yeah, that's my tutorial, so I'll see you later. Goodbye.